year 2010 began like any other in Delhi's bustling Mayapuri scrap market. But beneath the surface, a silent horror was brewing. An antique gamma irradiator, once a research tool at Delhi University, was negligently auctioned off for scrap. This device, weighing over 3.5 tons, harbored the deadly secret cobalt 60, a potent radioactive isotope with a half life of over 50 years. What is this? Why is it in Delhi's biggest scrap market, Mayapuri? We'll get to that later. First, let me do an intro. I'm Vidanshman and you're watching Vinton. Let's get started. This video is divided into I don't know how many parts, but let's just count them. First part, we're starting now. A deadly provenance. The negligence that led to Mayapuri tragedy was a chilling cocktail of institutional apathy and systematic failure. Delhi University, which had owned the irradiator since 1968 and kept it unused since 1985, inexplicably sold it for scrap on February 26, 2010, without adherence to safety protocols or informing the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board AERB. An undertaking from 1970 explicitly stated that the device and its radioactive sources would not be sold or transferred. This was a bold note. A community of professors made this fateful decision, demonstrating a shocking lack of awareness about inherent dangers. This catastrophic overstrike was not an isolated incident in India. India had a disturbing history of orphan sources. Radioactive materials lost, stolen, or improperly disposed of. From missing cobalt 60 sources in Tamil Nadu in 2003 to stolen Adium 192 in Mumbai in 2008. These near misses were ignored warnings, foreshadowing the Mayapuri disaster. The AERB, India's nuclear watchdog, was itself on tenuous ground, lacking the legal authority to effectively enforce safety rules and suffering from crucial regulatory gaps, including a weak monitoring process for radiation facilities. The pervasive ignorance of radiation hazards at all levels set the stage for disaster. 2. The human caste. On March 12, 2010, scrap workers, oblivious to the invisible menace, dismantled the irradiator. The cobalt 60 source was cut into multiple pieces, some even stored in a money chest, mistaken for valuable metal. A small, seemingly innocuous piece found its way into Ajay Jain's wallet. The effects were swift and brutal. Deepak Jain, a shop owner, was the first to seek medical help in early April. His hand blackened, hair falling out, and body covered in severe burns. He developed a bone marrow damage. His platelet count plummeting, Ajay Jain, carrying the piece in his wallet, still not knowing, developed a severe painful back rash on his right buttock and later on his thigh. Undergoing over 10 consecutive surgeries, but the most tragic fate befell Rajendra Prasad, a 35-year-old laborer who directly handled the deadly pencils of cobalt 60. He received the highest exposure, estimated at 3.1 GY, which is way more than what can harm humans, leading to severe multi organ failure. On April 26, 2010, Rajendra Prasad became India's first radiation death, succumbing to the invisible poison. 7 others were hospitalized with severe acute radiation injuries, battling symptoms ranging from intense burns to nausea, suppressed immune systems, and organ damage. The alarm was finally raised on April 7, 2010, when Apollo Hospital alerted AERB about the Deepak Jain's unusual symptoms. What followed was a frantic, multi-agency operation, Operation Cobalt. Teams from AERB, Department of Atomic Energy, DAE, BARC, BRIT, and National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, descended on Mayapuri. The area was swiftly cornered off, and portable radiation detectors were deployed in the field to locate scattered radioactive pieces. The recovery was a pain-stroking, dangerous process. 11 pencils of cobalt 60 slugs and pencils were eventually found among mountains of scrap metal. Contaminated scrap and soil weighing over 500 kg were meticulously collected. The recovered sources were secured in shielding flasks and transported to Narora Atomic Power Station for safe storage. The challenge was immense, tracing tiny, highly dangerous fragments hidden in a vast, chaotic scrapyard. Part 3, A Nation Awakens. The Mayapuri incident sent shockwaves across India, sparking public fear and intense media scrutiny. It was a stark wake-up call, exposing critical vulnerabilities in India's nuclear safety framework. The government and regulatory bodies were forced into a period of deep introspection. AERB responded by laughing public awareness campaigns, particularly for scrap dealers. Collaboration with the University Grants Commission (UGC) aimed to educate academic and research institutions on safe handling and disposal of radioactive sources. A high-powered committee was formed, recommending crucial changes: stricter inspections of imported scrap, mandatory radiation monitors at ports and borders, and establishment of more emergency response centers. Part 4, Reckoning and Reform. In the aftermath, legal action was initiated. Delhi police filed a charge sheet against six Delhi University professors involved in the auction, accusing them of negligence, although the final judicial outcome is not widely publicized. More significantly, the incident spurred a wave of regulatory and technological reforms. The AERB launched the e-licensing of radiation appliances (e-LORA) platform in September 2014, a web-based system designed to track and manage all radioactive sources from cradle to grave, ensuring better inventory control and preventing future orphan sources. Radiation detection equipment (RDE) was deployed at land borders, and mobile radiation detectors (MRDS) were procured for over 50 cities. NDRF battalions received specialized training to handle CBR in chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear scenarios. While significant strides have been made, challenges still remain. Assessments indicate that despite improved guidelines, enforcement and screening at ports still face issues, and awareness within the community, especially among scrap dealers, remains a concern. Part 5, Lessons Forged in Crisis. The Mayapuri radiological incident serves as a harrowing reminder of how catastrophic consequences of negligence and a fragmented regulatory framework. It understood the critical need for a robust, continuously evolving nuclear safety culture encompassing strict regulations, advanced technology for tracking and detection, and most importantly, widespread public awareness. The invisible killer of Mayapuri left a lasting scar but also ignited a vital quest for a safer, more secure future in a nation that now understands the profound responsibility that comes with the harnessing atomic power.